Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Makers Bar podcast. At Makers Bar, we create and raise a million leaders worldwide. I am your host for today, Suhavi, and we have with us Kumar Saurav, co founder and CTO at Vodex AI. Hi, Kumar. How are you doing?
Hey, hi, Swabi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good. So, let's get straight to business. Tell us about Vodex AI.
So basically, this is a frustration for me and my co-founder for years, and we have seen in our previous enterprises that we built that no matter how great product you build, uh, reaching to your target audience, reaching to your customer, finding out who is the perfect buyer for your product, and then making sure that you keep on finding it, keep growing and scaling and eventually moving everything very simultaneously with your growth, with your product growth. So basically, in India or across the globe, usually the people find it very tough to do the sales. So what we are building here at Vodex is we are building AI virtual agents that will be able to do end-to-end sales. When I say end-to-end sales, it's like even finding the customer, perfect customer for the product, just by the product description and anything around your company, then reaching out to those customers, making sure that they get heard, whether over email, phone call, or everything around that. Then doing the discovery, like qualifying them that if they are a good fit for our business as well, not only that are we good fit for themselves, for the client as well. Then bringing them into the product demos, showing them the product demo where there's no human interaction required, doing a deep dive session, and finally doing the negotiations and the closure for the customers. So like it's like the end-to-end journey done by AI virtual agents. Essentially, we are trying to replace the research guys and the inside sales guy, SDRs, and account executive, CAM guys into the organization and creating sales engines for the enterprises.
Okay, that's very interesting. So your product will be doing a lot of things related to sales. This is what I'm getting, and I'm saying this in layman's terms because I'm not from this field and I know very little. So since you're doing that, how are you? But doing sales for different kinds of products, like it's different in different areas, right? So how are you training AI to do something like this, like selling, for example, a car, different from selling a software, to different from selling like a food product. So
So
how are you doing that?
that's a great question, Shwavi, and it's of course a tough journey that you cannot sell a mining product with the same way you sell a D2C product. But essentially, most of the sales that is done across the world are comprised of 25 sales algorithms. Uh, it's there the technical names to it. I want to skip to that, like band and medic and everything. So these are strategies based on what kind of product you have, what kind of market you are targeting, what kind of customer. Like say, suppose for us, the target customer will be a business. But say, suppose there is a pickle business, some D2C company is there. So their target audience will be consumers, direct consumers. So the strategy changes. So first we have built the models that actually automatically understand that, hey, which strategy I need to follow. And it only not it's not only up to that limit part. What we think usually is that how it understands the business, that's actually the easier part to do. The major difference by doing the sales using AI agent is how to mimic the perfect salesperson. Like maybe think in terms of how Grant Cardone does sales or Jordan Belfort does sales. And every organization doesn't have that. Why they do except like you give Grant Cardone to sell a house, he will sell it. You tell him to sell a gym, he will sell it. You tell him to sell a spaceship, he will sell it as well. Right, but it's not about the product first, it's about how you understand sales, and that's a very minute thing that we have worked around here inside. We call it our Vodex sales engine that we have created. It's actually a multi large language models, like GPT is kind of a model where basically there is one model which is acting as a master, and master, or maybe like a manager. Another one is working as a worker. So manager is actually managing that how and what you should say, and the worker is actually working, doing that job. So we have created a hierarchical structure around. So it's like we are mimicking how the humans organization will work in your organization, just on the basis of what data you have provided about your business. Like if a D2C business will come to us, they have to provide their data about their product and everything. Of course, we cannot make it up ourselves. So they have to provide the data about themselves, maybe about something about their company, where they are located, who are the founders, whatsoever information they want to pass into. The more the merrier is the concept, so that the bot can handle accordingly. Like we want makeup. If say suppose a business come to us and he has not given any information about pricing, so the bot will never talk about pricing. It will try to like like a good salesperson, it will try to change the question in some way and bring it to a secondary level of discussion, or third, or call in a human to handle that part as well.
Okay, so okay, that's very interesting. So you're saying that if there is an issue, they can call in an human to get involved as well. And when do they realize, like, what is the benchmark of realization that after this we will be called, like, they can call in a human? How does that
So
work?
there is actually a technical algorithm, orchestration algorithm that runs in the background that continuously keep predicting that the availability and also the requirement of it. So say suppose if the bot required a human, but the human is not available, none of the salesperson is available. So the manager bot will immediately send a signal that, hey, don't call a human. Tell him to let's reschedule a call for a future date, and it will reschedule into the calendar into a future date where that human agent will be available.
That is wow, that's phenomenal. That's great leap in terms of technology, I guess. That's really cool. So, when did you realize that this is a problem that you wanted to solve? And how did you and other co-founders work towards, solving this problem?
So basically, I have always been an entrepreneur. It's my third startup. The first startup I ran into IoT and renewable. So basically, since 2011 onwards, I have been an entrepreneur. So when I ran that company, at that time also the scaling was tough part. But I was too early into my journey that I didn't understood that this is a problem of sales. So I thought that something is different with my product, or something that I doesn't understand about the market. You keep on blaming yourself. As a founder, you keep on blaming yourself. Then me and Anshul, my co-founder, Anshul has worked for Mindtree for 8 years. He was 4 years here in India. 4 years he worked for BBC in London as well. So while working for that, he got hands to work on Alexa very early, like in 2014 when the Alexa arrived. So me and Anshul decided that in 2018 that let's start building a company into voice bots and chat bots. It's as a service-based company that anyone requires. That nowadays is very common on any platform, right? So we were very early adopters of the technology. We started selling it to the businesses, enterprises across the globe. That's when we realized that no matter how what we did, continuously growing was the tough part. So first of all, we got it ourselves that, hey, continuous sales is a tough part. Then we started discussing it with the multiple other businesses that, hey, how do you find sales, how do you find people, good people? So the major problem was that in US, if you're selling, so if you want to create a sales team inside your organization, you will typically be investing around 800K or $1 million. And no matter what happens, even one single employee is not good enough, you will be wasting another 6 to 8 months before you maybe fire and bring someone else as well. And you cannot have the consistency of the conversation. So that was the first clue for us that, okay, doing the entire sales journey is tough. So that's when we realized that, and solving end-to-end sales is itself a very long journey. You cannot decide today and 6 months you can release the product, right? So we split it into multiple milestones. We thought that, okay, reaching out to the customer is tough part, so we created a voice bot, but that talks like a human with a small context given about your product, and you can do sales based outbound phone calls. So like insurance company may be selling its product, or a mortgage company selling its mortgages, something, any kind of a product. So the bot will understand accordingly, talk, will try to convince the customer, and if it is convinced, it can either book a meeting with a real human agent, or even transfer a call to a real human agent, whatsoever the business wants. So that was the first thing we solved. Then we understood that okay, this much part we have done it very wonderfully. We are getting a lot of customers now, so that's when we realized that okay, the rest of the part also we can solve on the technology front. So right now we are actually in process of solving. It's not like 100% solved, but very soon it will be, with the current tech stack that is available into the market, and what we have built in, proprietarily inside the Vodex as well. We are very easily seeing that this whole sales problem can be solved very easily.
Okay, that's interesting. And how is this going to be like a chat based thing, or like you said, there's also like how they're gonna you first trained an AI to call somebody sound like a human and stuff. So how it's going to be virtual and via computers and calls the whole time, right? Is this what I'm
Yes.
assuming?
So basically, these are voice based mostly. Chat is a part. Like say, suppose someone is texting to the business on the chat, the bot can handle that as well. Emails also it will do. In the emails, it will also do the conversation. But the major problem is like right now, I'm giving this podcast to you myself, right? Technically, I will not be required in future to do this. Think in terms of sales, like a sales call is about to given Suhani, you got interested in my product. I have to give the same product demo, same things I need to ask, same thing I need to answer. So it's a repetitive task. So there human is not required. So the bot will go into the call. It will share screen like we do into Google Meet or Zoom or everything around that. It will essentially, actually, Zoom CEO recently said something about digital twin, that it will create a digital twin of the salesperson, exactly doing whatever he used to do in his real life. So it is voice based mostly. Video will be a part of it, which will be added later on. There are certain places, like say suppose you're selling a car and a test drive is needed. Of course, a virtual sales agent will not be able to do that. A part of it will do, but again, for the test drive, a human will be required. Or maybe you're selling real estate, you need to show the property. For that,
Mhm.
showing the property, human will still be required.
Yeah, yeah. And you've been with like you co-founded Vodex AI like about 2 years ago. So how I'm assuming the journey has changed a lot from the initial years to now. And so wanted to know what were the significant challenges that you faced in the initial stages of your business, and how have you and your co-founder overcome them in the last 2 years?
So first thing is that we have been not new to the field. So we have seen the transition a lot. Like way back in 2014, 15, even 16, when we were building bots for the people. Like the very initial bot, it's like if you say this, it will say this. Rule-based bots, we used to say that. From that journey to some technological advancement, some Google research, some paper transformers, on the basis of which actually this entire GPTs and all everything is trained. That came in 2018. Then we seen a transition. So what we at Vodex has always used, that we have not coded out that research technology part, but we has always leveraged it to create value for the businesses. So the challenges part I will tell you is that for a lot of tasks you need to brainstorm a lot, like how to handle that task even right now. So earlier it was more. So say suppose earlier the difficulty percentage was at 95%. Now it has slumped down to 60-65%. But it's easier down the road to create a value for the businesses. So in the initial journey there are other differences, like raising the rounds as a startup is always a question mark for us. So showing the initial interest from the investors, from the customer, finding your first customer, these all things were the challenges which we overcome till now. Now we are still finding it, that how will the people react to it. So say suppose I'm saying that AI bot will do sales, but maybe Suhani is not, doesn't want bot to handle her sales call, right?
Yeah.
See what's not, so this whole transition will happen over the 3-4 years when it is very accessible. Like right now you go to make my trip, if you require anything, you will chat with the chatbot. But 3 years ago you were not accepting that. Most of the people didn't accept that. So it will become a part of this. So those transition has happened earlier as well. So in the initial journey, we had the trouble in making people understand that this is a time and necessity right now, and still we are having that trouble. But over the period of time, we will keep on overcoming it.
Yeah, but I believe there are a lot of limitations to, I mean, maybe not with generative AI, but in the past, chatbots, like texting chatbots and talking about something basic. Suppose I've ordered something online and there's a chatbot icon, and I have to text them saying, where is my order? And they reply and I get it. But suppose there's something related to returns and exchange or something. This has gone back. When is it coming back or whatever? It used to be very complicated for a chatbot to answer something like that. So that has actually led to frustrations, not
Yeah,
just with
yeah.
me, with other people as well. So, I mean, I can understand difficulties like that. Now, I'm assuming what you are working on is far more complex than this. So,
Right, right.
you've obviously surpassed this issue, but yeah, I get it. I understand now.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Okay.
It's all about the technological advancement that has happened, that has changed the world, and it will keep on changing. AI is Gen AI is gonna change the world very quickly. It's like a right now fire or electricity moment for us. So it's very rapidly gonna change the world.
Yeah, yeah, looks like it. That's true. So, in these 2 years, what has been the most satisfying moment for your business?
I think this should be for any startup founder, finding your first customer. That is always a very satisfying journey, because there the battle is very large. Like, they usually enterprises or even smaller businesses, mid market business, they don't trust the startups. Their problems are also justified. I'm not saying that they make up the reasons. Their problems are also justified, but finding one true champion for a business, whether it's raising round, of course, also is a similar journey, but it's still, that is easier than finding a customer. So I think that the most satisfying moment was that when we got our large customer, we started interacting, we ran the POCs, and he was highly satisfied. He went on signing the contract, and the sales cycle started. So I think that was the part which was the most satisfying for us in the journey.
And was it difficult to market AI? Um,
No, actually, to be very frank, so when we 2 years ago when we started, we focused too much on marketing, organic mostly. We didn't had enough money to do ads and everything. So we focused on a lot of content, lot of SEO, PR worked very great for us. So using these tactics, we created a very good inbound funnel. So it's still on Vodex. So every day we see on our website at least 60-70 people trying our bot. Just we have on our website there is a widget where you can put your phone number and click call me now. Then a Vodex bot calls you and you can experience the call. So it's like first hand experience you can get. So we get at least 50,
yeah.
60 queries each day. So doing the marketing was fairly easier. People were already aware that something can be done. What has been done was the tough part, because usually the people were. I think you were right that when you were giving the example of the return, people were coming with that mindset that has it done better than that or not? The question mark was that. So once they get a first hand information or a first hand experience using the bot, they were like, okay, it's super cool. How now it can retrofit into my business? Show it that. So that's why they will come into demo. Our sales will team take the demos and everything around it. But it was fairly. I think the Gen AI hype actually helped us a lot in creating that sequence. There is one more thing is that certain times people get overwhelmed as well. So they certain times people also start thinking that these bots and agents can do better than humans. So we have not passed the Turing test. We are not bots are still not better than that. We are not at AGI forefront right now. So there we have to set the expectations correct to our customers that hey, it's not better than human. It's just scalable. It's very highly scalable than human.
Yeah, I mean, people are always afraid of that AI taking
Yeah,
over jobs and stuff.
yeah, yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Anyway, so regarding your role in Vodex AI, What is it that you do, and what is it that other co-founders manage?
So basically, we have split the responsibility. Actually, me and Anshul, very quick introduction. Anshul and me are like last 18 years friend. We did the college together since 2006. We know each other. So there is already a very deep-rooted tuning between us. We actually complement ourselves into a skill set. So like I am the CTO, I am the techie guy here. So my job is to see the vision of the product, keep seeing that where the trend and the new research is coming from, accordingly guide our team at, and what part of can be built into the product so that more value can be created to the customer. So keep on innovating, researching, and uh, keep on improving the product part. These all are my job. Other than that, also of course I handle the investor relations here as well. Anshul's job is to handle the sales and the marketing part, which is the major uh, engine where you reach out to customer, you make sure that your sales people are doing great, or your own product can be used into the sales as well. So Anshul makes sure that that part is getting handled. The customer support also, customer success also comes under me, because there the people have demands and everything, some product feature requirements do come in, some solution required, so that team also comes into my part. Finance and HR, we have a CFO for finance, so we don't handle it directly. We just like hear him out and take a collective decision there.
Okay, okay. And in the last few years, from your first startup to this one, how do you feel that your leadership style has changed or evolved and led you to being this person?
So I will say that initial journey, I was a lot afraid, because I come from a very non-entrepreneurship background. Neither in no one in my family, even very far relatives, are even not into entrepreneurship or some business or something like that. So taking straight out of the college, I took a jump there. No, I don't want to do job. I got some opportunity, but I said that no, I doesn't want to go do the job. So there was a I was a little afraid in the start, but once I went into it, uh, slowly and gradually the public speaking style change, how to talk to people change, how to converse. So these are like nuances which actually a techie doesn't understand in the start. So that's those things were the initial challenges. What again then we went through me and Ashul both have gone through a lot of coaching and training with few industry leaders around this as well, like how to articulate your what you are saying so that the people get exactly what you get, you wanted to deliver. So those things we learned over the period of time. I specifically was coming from a very technical background, very hardcore techie. So for me, moving toward that direction was more tough, because I was not accepting the fact that that is also one thing that you should create into your leadership skill. Then in my from our second company, when the company grew, we both together learned the people skills a lot, like how to handle your customer, how to keep them motivated to every them come to the office, how should they align to the vision and the mission statement, and they should be able to very directed towards their own KPIs, right? Then in this organization, we started implementing the OKRs, which Google's and similar companies have. So we didn't had any idea about it. So our leadership skills has been growing over the years. We have been learning a lot and implementing it into our real life journey as a entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I think being part of the startup ecosystem is very dynamic in nature. You
Yeah.
have to keep growing and with new things, and also you're working in AI, so that's also another thing, right? You have to keep growing and learning because new things are happening all the time. So, with that mindset, do you feel that the vision of your company changes, or do you feel that or is your long-term vision for Vodex AI has been set? And if yes, what is it?
So see, our always the vision has been to build virtual employees. So basically, it's a technical term. If I say it in a very layman terms, so people are very excited. People have heard about GPTs and LLMs. people have heard that something called AGI, artificial general intelligence, is about to arrive. I don't know when. Well, there's a prediction around 27 or 28 or 29, somewhere around that. Initial glimpses of AGI will come. So what we believe at Vodex is that we will be the ones who will be bringing it to the businesses and deliver value to them, so that their growth is, they are successful. We always, as a vision of Vodex, is that whatever we build, we will empower businesses more. So, like right now, we are solving sales. Once, like say, suppose in next 2 3 years, we have end to end solved it very wonderfully. We will try to help into other directions of their businesses as well, like in their internal operations, admin work, HR, customer success, marketing. So these all will become a function of what we are doing. So building, what we see is that in future, well, 10 years down the line, there will be single person unicorns that is possible as well. With that, some AI product, like maybe Devin kind of a product, building the entire product for them without coding anything. Some product like Vodex will be doing the sales, some product might be doing the marketing, or maybe we are doing it. Some product will be doing the handling their all the operations part, like delivering something or something like that. So we do envision that kind of a future in a very like in 7 to 10 years from now. What we believe is that to reach that stage, the technology has to get matured a lot. So we are just running through the course of time while the technology keep on getting matured over the years.
But do you think it'll be difficult to get look to convince people to get rid of the human element? Because
No, we are not saying that. So there is a basically, you even said that there is a threat in people's mind that a lot of people are gonna get gonna get, lost the job, right? So, of course, even McKinsey has a recent report where said that 300 million jobs will be lost by 2032, right? And that's a very fairly large number, right? So, and of course, those jobs gonna go away. But there is again another 150, $200 million. If you're bad at the job that you're doing and you're not ready to upskill yourself, yes, there is a threat on your head. But if you're ready to upskill yourself, there will be jobs as well. So why those jobs will be created is to create a human angle still. When we say one person organization, probably still there will be a few consultant organization where humans are working will still be required. They not be on the company payroll, what we meant to say. It's like a subsidiary function that will be required. Like say suppose I'm running a D2C startup. A bot will not go and deliver some parcel to the home. Some drone will do that. For that, probably that agency will come into the picture, and there will be the jobs of the human. So human angle will still remain in the part. It will just be transformed into some other job, some other thing, and that's how the human connect will still be present in the future as well.
yeah, and these are very these ideas are so like it must be so difficult to convince uh, people. And I mean, just discussing these things in public and telling them these are your ideas. Like, do you feel that people question things a lot, like especially related to AI and all that? Do you think people are always like casting doubts and questioning these kind of decisions? As an
Yes, of
art,
course. Yeah,
sorry,
of
please
course.
continue.
So it's about the thing I will tell you. So if you will talk to any business owner, they always want to make more money. Like I, as a founder, always want to make more money or save time or save money. There is only three things, three values that most of the people can deliver. Even if, say, suppose Zepto, a startup, what is that? It saves your time, nothing more than that. It's actually costlier. You can go outside and get it done, but it saves your time, right? So some value is getting created. Now the thing here is that when we do this, when we reach out to the customer or reach out to investor as well, how do you make sure that they understand the value? So you cannot question their life's work, right? So how you articulate your thought, how you convince them, it becomes a very tough part here. If you go and you say that, hey, with Vodex, you will be able to fire your 90% of the employee. Okay, there won't be any second meeting, right? But if I go and say that your existing employee will be 80% more efficient and you will be able to generate 3 times more revenue. Now he is all ears. Then let him judge that if he find a few incompetent employee and he want to fire them. No one wants in an organization an incompetent employee. Everyone has that, right? So let him be the judge of that. But why will we say that? We will say actually what was the truth. The truth is the existing employees, whatsoever work they are doing, 50% of time their time is getting wasted into updating a CRM, writing something into notes, sending some mail, which all can be automated. If that work is not done, they will be able to handle not 10, 20 customer maybe in a day, right? So that's where the efficiency is getting increased. And if 20 customer is catered, definitely your revenue number is going to increase. That's a simple math that we need to increase. We didn't say that fire your employees. We are saying that then they will themselves realize that a few employees are still not doing better. So that's their judgment call, right? That's not what we are saying here right now.
Okay, but my question was actually, how do you deal with adversity and doubt and risk in your business, like you as a person, because it's a startup. You've been part of, this is your third startups and you have experience with these things. So how
Right.
do you deal with that?
Okay, so basically, I think I misunderstood. Sorry about that, Swavi.
It's
I completely understand. Okay, how do you handle the adversity? How do you scale, keep on growing, and everything? So when we thought that Vertex gonna do sales for the organization, so it should reflect Vertex sales as well, right? So we launched our first product in October 2023. It's less than a year, right? We grew till 750K in ARR within 6 months. I think in February we tested, right? And then post that, right now we are sitting at somewhere around $2.7 million. So you're saying even not a year has happened yet. Okay, so that's the one thing. So how we are handling it is actually we have created that culture also in the organization. Also, we do understand how the human psychology works. I will tell you with a very quick example. Say, suppose you have gone for shopping something, and say, suppose you want to buy something in the makeup, and usually when you enter into a mall, some girl will follow you, keep ma'am, try this, and all, right? Typically, people don't like that. Typically, people like to let me see, bro. Let me see. I will ask myself when the question. So there is a concept called unselling, that you don't sell until unless someone wants to buy, right? You cannot make people buy your product. You actually make them. You cannot actually sell someone something. You actually make them buy the product. That's the beauty about it. That you do using the culture, the conversation that you build, how the relationships that you build. So this whole adversity part, which in the organization you are saying, as a team, we are very focused with a vision that we want to empower that culture to our customers as well and inside our organization as well. We make sure that we make them learn about it. Like our employees first job to meet talking to anyone is not to sell the product. They never talk about product. They never try to identify anything. They just try to build relationships. Then you need to create a credibility and all. There's a lot of functions in that, so we actually handle that way. So it's we have that's why I was talking about the OKRs and all, which via that we actually integrate into our organization. But still there are, I won't say that it's 100% solved. There are still troubles that we are finding at our end, which we will over the period of time, we when we learn about something, we create something around that, or some policy around that, and then we keep on improving as a company.
Yeah. And you just spoke about your culture and how like your work culture. Speaking of that, how what do you think are the key values of your organization, and how do you ensure that your team members and the co-founders are always like upholding them?
So basically, what we believe at Vodex is that your vision is the motto of your company. Whatever. So say suppose my vision is to empower businesses in growing and scaling, right? So no matter what we do in our company, the product will be built for that, right? It cannot be built something around that. Then there are certain other key values in the culture that we doesn't want to create any biases, we doesn't want to create any spam or scam kind of a thing. So we make sure that those things are automatically removed. Misinformation we doesn't want to like we doesn't want to give. So we make sure that in any, for our customers business as well, no information is spread around that. So we have like safety nets for that and everything in the product as well. Now coming to the point towards the like co-founder and me to actually have created, but how the other employee or team member, like how the sales team actually does it. So when I said the misinformation, it's not about only the customer's product which the bot is selling. It's also about my employee will not go and overcommit that, hey, this will also be done, just transfer us the $1 million and we will be done. We cannot do misinformation around that. So that way the value is getting intact here, and we are finding it very easy. I'm very thankful to the leads of each department that they actually connect to it very well. We as an organization, we have like a reward and recognition policy each month we do, and we have policies where we do the regular meetups with all the employees at least once in a month, so that we talk about what was wrong, what happened, where we didn't align with our mission, and how to improve it in the past so that it is never repeated, right? So we have seen people doing that. Some customer trying to leverage Vodex for wrongful purpose, which was not detected. So we try to keep on improving on that part. Of course, we cannot predict everything sitting here, so we keep on improving that part.
So that's good. And also, it's good that you mentioned that you have great leads, because a lot of, I think, issues that like a startup founder faces is recruitment, right? Getting
Right.
good talent and ensuring that they stay with you. So
Right.
how do you manage that?
So I will give you an example. Recently, there's a person named Avi Ganguly. He joined our company. He is right now our EVP of sales for North American market. So he is 65 years old, sold 30 years for Fortune 500 companies. He has come for his last, that's his own word that he came for the last any. He himself brings a lot of things into our culture, which as the founder will listen a lot. That what improvement, what part we didn't we didn't had in the organization, because he's bringing a lot of experience around that. So in Votex, like we have in the sales only, we have more than 200 plus years of experience guys in total. So highly, like someone 65, someone 50, someone ex-VP of tracks and kind of people are there. So they're bringing a lot of knowledge. Now it's our job as founders to keep listening to them, and whichever part we see that can be integrated into the organization right now as a culture, we start improving it. And it's not only about only from the very highly experienced people. It can come from a very young kid of 21 years old as well. Like we should be all ears from everyone. My entire tech team is very young and highly motivated. We never say to them that hey, have a rest on Saturday or Sunday. They text us that on Sunday night 3 a.m. they will text us that I'm finding this trouble. They make our life hellbent. But the thing is that we also say that if someone is not respond, don't get angry about it, right? So that's the culture we learn from the people. So from smaller
Hmm.
employees till the very experienced people, whatever we learn, we keep on improving into our organization as well.
That's a very valuable lesson, I think. Taking in something from everybody that is part of the organization, let them be young or old or whatever. And that's
Yeah.
important, I think, part of your work culture as well. So, speaking of speaking of this, so tell me something that is has been like something that you learned from in the last couple of years, which was earlier a failure and then later ended up becoming either successful or a valuable lesson for your organization or for you.
Again, my own product and our own product is actually the entire valuable lesson that we learned over the 4 years. It's not like two college kids, 10 years, 14-year experience guys who have never done sales for 5 months. Like me and Anshul both have never done sales. We both are actually techie. He's also an engineer. He worked for Mindtree. I'm also a techie. So we both are engineers, right? So no matter what we say that, hey, we're going to solve the sales, can we? No, of course not. We didn't knew how to do the sales. So 4 years ago, we also didn't had an idea about how to talk. So I will give you an example. One of a founder I know named Zukin. He was yesterday meeting me, and he was showing me that, hey, I'm reaching out to the customer with this way, trying to find my first customer. I seen his LinkedIn message. He has sent a very long LinkedIn message. Then I opened my own LinkedIn and shown him that just see how many unread messages are there in my. You are just going through an unread message, okay? And if he has read it, it doesn't matter. You are not making an impact. So that then I explained to him, which I learned over the last 4 years, that how you message actually. You since you are a startup, you have never done sales, right? That's how we did our first sales. So you cannot go and barge in into someone's door and say that, hey, I'm going to solve a problem for you. He will say, get lost. I don't want you. Why should I even listen to you, right? Rather than that, if I go there and say that you have extensive amount of industry experience, you're a leader there, can I learn something from you? I have a few doubts in my head. Can I have 5 minutes of a call with you, or can we grab a cup of coffee if we are in the same city? He will, when you say these words, he feel right and wise, privileged, respected. He will, not everyone, but a few people will give you time, and that's the few people you're looking for, right? That's how you. So these are the learnings that we had in the last 4 years. That's the basis of which we are building the product. And also with the team that we have, very why we hired very experienced people into sales, because they understand sales. If they understand sales, they can help us build a product which understands sales, right? So it's a very nuanced factor. Like I will give you a very quick example. Say suppose someone is has done everything with a customer, given a demo and everything, and in the ask is, okay, do you mind if I send you the contracts right now? Now, if the customer replies like this, just listen exact how it replies like this, that yeah, 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 okay, okay, I think just send it. Now, if you just transcribe it into text, it's all yes. That's actually not yes.
Yeah.
It's actually there is some doubt, something going behind his head, which should be addressed. So that level of thing, we understood it first. We integrated into our organization. We trained our own team to understand that level of that, and then we are now training our bots to also do that. So that's why it's tough. That's why it's doing the sales. So in the last 4 years, we have learned this whole part a lot. Still learning. I will say still learning a lot, and we are integrating into our product, into our company as well.
Okay, and I mean, you just spoke about hiring experienced people and also like also learning, like talk finding people on LinkedIn to text and telling them let's grab a coffee or whatever. So, do you feel that this process has um, found you like did you find a lot of mentors through this process?
For
And
sure. And these mentors become your customers as well. For sure, they become. They won't become on day one. If you rush a sales like day one on the coffee table, you start telling him about product. He doesn't want to listen your product. You told him
Hmm.
that be my mentor, so listen to him first. Listen for a few more coffee meetings, and then maybe say that according to whatever you said, hey, here is what I have created. Then he will say that okay, he listened and he's now showing me the value. He will see your demo more better way.
Yeah. So actually, I wanted to ask you is, can you like share with us maybe like a book or a mentor or an event that significantly influenced your journey in this startup ecosystem?
So, first thing is, I very really like this book called The Four Stages of Epiphany. For any early stage startup, I believe that that's like a very great guidebook. Like till the stage that we are in now, we are moving away from that stage. Like how you find the first customer, who should be your first customer, how to identify that customer, and how to replicate it. What's the beachhead and everything. So and it's not only about that. It's like how to build the product also accordingly as well. Like you doesn't want. I have seen a lot of startup. I cannot name, but I've seen a lot of startup. They have built a product and now they are thinking whom to sell it. You doesn't want to land into that situation, and many people land into that situation. So that book is very great. For the finance side, my own very like years ago, 10 years ago, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I really love that book. There are certain other books around company culture and others as well. uh, for the sales, we learned a lot from Sabri Suri's book named Sell Like Crazy. We understood the 3% formula from there. So it's like multiple books we have read, and it's about our own journey. But I will always suggest to any startup reading the book The Four Stages of Epiphany is very much important, because that says like actually that book created a revelation in US called Lean Startup Revolution. So that will give you the insight on how to build that in your own company.
Okay, and besides the books that you have mentioned, what do you feel is what do you think are the most critical skills that an entrepreneur today needs to succeed?
uh, I will not say that you need multiple skill set. First of all, I always believe that like this is my personal opinion. Don't have too many co-founder, but at least have one co-founder. Like one or two is good. Don't have four, five co-founder. That's for sure. Always have co-founder with complementary skill set. So say suppose you fear stage a lot, so the other founder should loves the stage a lot, right? So that's a very common skill set. Now coming to, if one is a techie, the other should at least understand how to manage people. So there are three primary functions in the organization, I will say. One is the management, another is running the operations and all, like COO activity. One is the leading with a vision, like where the product, where the company, where everything is gonna go, who will handling the investors and all, probably as well. Then there is a part of the product where you handle how the culture is getting created. Probably it doesn't require a third person for it, maybe split it in between yours. So I will say, rather than holding on to technical skill set more, you should now hold on with the change due to AI has coming into picture. You should now hold yourself more accountable towards this, social skills more. That will help your organization grow faster.
Okay, but don't you think these social skills can be learned more like along the way? Like the more you fall
Yeah.
and
I'm also saying that a few things, like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not necessary. Some things will be required very on the day one. Like either of the co-founder should be able to at least speak. Like both cannot go mute, right? You have to give an
Mhm.
investor presentation. You have to do the sales. So someone have to take it. That's why we say that in the earliest sales startup there is a founder-led sales that happen. Luckily for in our organization, me and Anshul both are vocal. Like we both can talk. So it doesn't matter who talks. Mostly it's his job, but we both can talk.
You enjoy
So
it
that,
as well.
yeah, I enjoy that as well. But it's like now here, basis of that, we will not become not co-founder as well. If both have, that's a good thing. So a few social skills are mandatory, like these things around that. Like people skills you learn over the time. The culture building you learn over the time. We also learned over the period of time. There's not there's no hard and fast rule for it. There are multiple books, multiple mentors who can help you in building that. uh, but at least building the product and taking it to the market is the skill that you should thrive for. Even if you doesn't know, you should focus on getting to these skills in yourself, either one of the founders into yourself, so that you can scale and grow very fastly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you've said something, some very like profound things, finding your tribe, finding people with the right skill set. Of course, these are very important. So, with this, I actually want to ask you my last question, which is what advice would you give someone who's wanting to start their own company?
I given it yesterday as well. uh, I said that this is what my investor said. So your timing, your team should be very perfect. It's like, uh, I doesn't want to demean anyone, but it's like, if you're doing edtech right now, probably it's a lesser chance to get funded and get customer as well, because people are now going offline a lot. That's the trend that we are seeing. If you have something brilliant, something very brilliant, do it. Of course, do it. So don't love your idea too much. It's not the idea that wins; it's the execution that always wins. So focus on that part and accordingly build your story. So basically, when you talk to any investor, say suppose investor or customer, on the early day they don't buy the product on the basis of what product does, or invest into on the basis of what product does. They know that the people can be hired and a better product can be created, and someone with a better pockets can build it, right? What matters that how deeply you understand your problem. One thing what I usually see with the startups is that They think that they will first build a very brilliant product, then will go into the market after 3 years. So just keep funding me, funding me, funding. But if you don't go and talk to your customer, like customer is the only one person who is gonna make your product brilliant. He is the person who gonna tell you. So finding that, even not customer, even getting a review about your product, like is it doing good? Do you like it? What's the problem that you see? That's the only three questions you need to get answered. So probably doing that and accordingly build a story for that, and always be visionary. It's like, don't think what I'm going to do in the next 1 or 2 years. Always think what will be the life if I start this after 10 years. Not only for me, for the world, what value I will create in the next 10 years. Because then you can think large and then reverse engineer it. Like what steps I need to take to do it, which year I'm going to do what.
Yeah. I mean, this is what actually a lot of career counselors also say, right? You imagine the life you want to lead and you walk backwards and you
Yes,
decide what
yes.
you need to do like along the way. So,
Yeah, even Steve Jobs even said that, na, that you can also only connect the dots by looking backward. You cannot do that.
yeah,
So how can you do it in the present? Is that set something in the future and try to look backwards from there.
yeah, yeah. Okay, Saurav, sorry, Kumar, Saurav, it's been great, great talking to you. And I'm surprised that you're not, I mean, like you should also be in sales, is what I wanted to say, because you've been like amazing at selling your product. And it's been great having this conversation with you. Thank you
Perfect.
so
For
much for
me,
coming to our podcast.
thank you. Thank you, Swami.